Welcome to The Bold Encourager. I'm Rebecca. Today we will be talking about why comparison fails to motivate you. So please stay tuned. Thank you for joining me today for Motivation Monday. If you're new to my channel, please do hit that subscribe button. It allows for me to get my positive messages out to more people, and it doesn't cost you anything. So today we're going to be talking about why comparison fails to motivate you. And we've all done it before, so I think everybody can learn from this particular lesson. And I myself have dealt with it, so I know a lot of people have. I've heard other people saying that they do compare themselves to other people. So let's start with the first reason. It makes you doubt your value. So when you're comparing yourself to someone else, it means that you're not valuing who you are as a person. And it's because you feel like you don't add enough value, so you want to look at somebody else that does, that in your perspective, not necessarily is it true, but in your perspective, you feel like they add more value than you do. So you look at them and say, I wish I could be more like them. And so you almost devalue yourself. So that's the first reason. Don't devalue yourself. You are unique. You are an individual, and you were created for a specific purpose. So don't compare yourself to others, because who you are is good enough. Trust me. Second thing, it will lead you away from your destiny to follow after someone else's destiny. And you see somebody like being successful, whether it be in a career or a relationship or just in life, you may forget about what you want to do for your destiny or your purpose and say, I want to do what they're doing because it's working for them, but what I'm doing is not working for me. So you almost will just abandon your destiny because you see something that's working for them and you forget about your own destiny. Don't feed somebody else's dreams. Feed your own. I can say that from experience because I tend to do that. Like, I didn't know who I was for a long period of time. So I always followed after other people's purposes and destinies and sometimes helped them with it, but forgot about my own because I wasn't focusing on myself and I wasn't focusing on who I could be in the future. And when you're so focused on everybody else and comparing yourself to everybody else, you forget about what your destiny is. So don't do that. Feed your destiny. It's important. Another thing is it creates envy in your heart. Now, we know envy is a sly, green monster. Envy comes out of nowhere. You don't even realize it's happening to you until it's too late. So when you become envious, jealous of someone because of their life or relationship or looks or whatever it may be, you start to have this feeling inside of you. And it's not a good feeling. It's ugly. And you almost become like incredibly jealous or envious of this person that you're comparing yourself to, that it affects you, like your moods, and it affects the way you live, and it just affects the way you feel about your own life. And envy is not a place you want to be, my friends. So definitely, if you have any of those feelings coming up, you know you need to nip them in the bud, because jealousy, envy is not a good place to be in, and it will destroy your life. Trust me, it's not a good place to be in. So another thing is it destroys your creativity and uniqueness. When you are just being you, you have a unique perspective and you're creative in that perspective. When you start wanting to be a copycat of someone else, you lose that. You lose your uniqueness, your creativity, you lose you. And you, as an individual, have a unique perspective. There's no one else like you. There's nobody else that thinks like you. There might be people that think similarly to you, but not exactly like you, and have not had the exact path or walk the same path as you. So you, my friend, have a unique perspective, and you are creative in that perspective. So don't lose that because you want to be a copycat of someone else. So another thing is, it's gonna make you obsessive. So let's just take, for instance, you're on Instagram, there's a girl or a guy, whatever it may be, and you want to look like them. And you become obsessive. You constantly are checking their post, you're constantly trying to buy everything they're buying, you become a crazy person. And that is not a place you want to be. You don't want people to look at, oh, she's crazy or he's crazy. He won't stop with trying to be like this person. And you come off as obsessive to other people, and you don't even see it because you're so in it. You're so into this comparison thing that it's almost like you forget to review yourself and see, hey, this is making me crazy. So be careful that you don't get obsessive and start comparing yourself and trying to be exactly like that person. Okay. It can also make you feel miserable and uncontent with your own life. Why it does that is you're so busy comparing your life to this other person or other people, and it's like whatever they have is better, and you don't know them. It could be someone you know personally, or it could be just somebody famous, but you don't know everything that's happening in their own life. Everybody likes to show the better side of everything on social media, so don't think that because they're posting all these great pictures and everything looks so peachy keen, it's not always like that. People always post what they want you to see, and they want to show you that life is great and everything's great. But if you get to live in their shoes one day, maybe you'll see that it ain't that pretty as you thought it was. Maybe you'd see that you might actually have it better than them. So don't let that become something that affects you in the way that you view your own life. You don't want to be miserable. You want to be content with your life. We were not placed on this earth to just look at everybody, oh, that person has this, that person. And I know social media has a funny way of making you envy other people because they have so many nice things. But things don't fill your void. Things don't make you feel better about your life. You can buy and buy and buy as many things as you want in your life. It could be electronics, cars, whatever it may be, but it will never fill you up. It is empty. So the people that have that interface, not to say that they're all miserable, but there are the ones that just keep filling the void, but they're never satisfied. So don't let that come into your life and start making you miserable or uncontent. Just love your life and appreciate what you have. A thankful heart really changes your perspective, and it will help you to stop comparing yourself to other people's lives, or comparing your life to other people's lives. So something to think about. And then you might start disliking the person you're comparing yourself to. The reason being is it kind of goes with envy. You might start disliking them because you start to have this spite towards them for having the things that you want in life, but you couldn't get them. And you might give them, they might be somebody you know personally, or they might be somebody that you see on social media or whatever, and you might start to resent them. And if they have like a messed up outfit one day, you're like, see, you just like to point all their flaws out because you want to make it seem like that you're not envious of them, but also it makes you feel better for just a little bit. And you start to dislike them and you start to resent them and they didn't even do anything to you. It's just the fact that they have something or someone that you want, but you can't have. And the thing about wants is sometimes we get those wants and we don't even care about them. It's just like when we were kids and we wanted that toy so bad, And we begged and begged our parents for that toy, and we get it, and what do? We play with it for maybe a couple weeks, and we forget about it. It's the same thing. If we ended up getting some of the things that other people have that we want and we couldn't have at first, we just don't feel, it only satisfies for that couple weeks. But the thing is you don't want to start having resentment towards people just because they appear to have a better life than you or appear to have more success than you. It's not a place you want to be because you have no idea, and everybody deserves the right to be successful. So instead of comparing and starting to dislike them, actually the better thing to do is to give them a pat on the back and congratulate them and be happy for them. Because if they've probably worked super hard to get there. So, and if they haven't, who cares? Just focus on you. The most important thing is focus on your own life. The more you take time on putting attention to your own life, you're going to be happier. And the more time you take putting attention on someone else's life, you're going to be like really not happy. You're going to be miserable. So take that into perspective. The other reason, it's time consuming. When you're so busy comparing yourself to everyone else, you just waste time. You're always going to their social media, checking everything out, looking for flaws. You're pointing everything out to everybody else, and you're trying. It takes up so much time, and in your head too. You're like, they're not even paying rent in your head, but you're letting them live there. So don't let them waste your time. You need to focus on your life, your destiny. Put the time and attention to yourself. That is the place you need to be at. I promise you, it will be life-changing. And the last thing is, it decreases your confidence. Now, if you're a confident person, you're not so busy comparing yourself to others, and you're not worried about where their success is at, because you're so confident that you're almost like, okay, that's great. They're successful. I'm successful. There's room for everybody to be successful. And you're not bothered by it. But when you're comparing yourself constantly to others, you lose your confidence. You lose that energy you need to be motivated to do something great in your life. And so you don't want to get to this place of where you lose confidence. So I wanted to share this quote with you that I thought was really it had me thinking for a while, and it was just a great quote that I wanted to share with you, and it's from a kind of a kid's movie, but I thought it was great. It's called, it was from the Chronicles of Narnia, the third one. It says, Aslan, the lion, is talking to Lucy. She's comparing herself to her sister. She thinks her sister is prettier than her, and so she wants to look like her sister. She wants to be her sister. And Aslan, the lion, in this movie says, you doubt your value. Don't run from who you are. Wow, right? We run from who we are. That's when we compare ourselves, when we run from who we are. Our identity is good enough. And I'm speaking about comparison for a very good reason. I used to do this all the time. And I mean, I didn't get obsessive to the point where it was like damaging my life, but I did compare myself to people. And I loved them and I cared for them, but I just wish I could be like them or be better than who I was. At least that's how I felt. I don't feel that way anymore. I love who I am now. I've learned to find confidence in my identity now. But before, when I was a kid, and anybody that has siblings can totally relate to this. So as I was growing up, and I love my sisters, they're the best. I will brag about them forever, but I was comparing myself to them because I felt like my sisters were prettier. I always felt like they did better at everything, and I didn't like who I was. I felt awkward. I was like a tomboy. I didn't have many friends. I was shy, and they had confidence. They had friends. Everybody, just kind of admired them for their beauty, and nobody did that for me. I didn't know how to do my hair, my makeup, and everything, so I always was comparing myself to them. And I wanted to be more like them, and sometimes I would try to be more like them, but it was uncomfortable because that's not who I was. I today am happy with who I am, and I've learned to stop comparing because there is no comparison. There is no comparison to you and somebody else. You are two totally different people. And be you, because we need everybody to have their own unique perspective in this world. And that could change the world. Your perspective could change the world. So look at what you are doing. I don't know if you're comparing today or you're comparing yourself to someone right now. I want you to take that step and make that decision today that you're going to stop comparing yourself to someone else and just live in your identity and love who you are and be content with your life. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video today, and if you did, please do hit that like button. And if there's any comments you want to leave, please do leave those comments. I love reading comments. I love positive and negative feedback. And also maybe say something about whether, if you feel comfortable, what you're comparing yourself to or who you're comparing yourself to. And let's just have that discussion. I think it's an important discussion to have. And you can even send me a private message on my social media on Facebook and Instagram. It's at The Bold Encourager on both those. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do hit that subscribe button. It helps me get these positive, encouraging motivation messages out to everyone. So I really appreciate all your love and support. Well, I hope you have an amazing day, and I hope you stay encouraged.